was wondering if you wanted to come out with me sometime.
Welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Tonight we'll be talking about woke dating. The pros, the cons, the dangers, the off-puts and the attractions.
I don't normally socialize with Packy's gangster friends, but sure, pick me up in the next hour.
As you can see, some things in life are more dangerous than others, and I think the current day and age we're in, everybody's on social medias, online dating, no one meets each other in public anymore, and it's far more difficult to approach someone in public and actually speak to them in real life if you haven't beforehand met them on a social media. It's almost like the block that used to be a real person, you know, used to go through a friend or a family member. That doesn't happen now. That friend or family member has been replaced by a digital person on a social media or a profile on a dating site. So we're going to look at some dating profile stuff. I used to use dating online, and you know the reason I stopped using it? Because it's a system that can be broken using a rule procedure. So what happens is this. It's mayhem, and if you know the procedure, you create the mayhem to drive off all competition and ensure that you get what you want, but it's not real. And now, if I go back to the same online dating sites and I try again and I be honest, it's not going to work for me. So in my head, proven out by my experiences and the things that I saw, online dating only ever works if you lie through your teeth, if you look perfect, i.e. you don't look like yourself. Like I wouldn't take a picture of myself now, I'd have the filter that made my eyes look younger, I'd put a hat on or glasses, I'd have perfect, I would definitely wouldn't be wearing against something. You don't wear against, you don't want to put your politics on you when you're in dating. So I would get nowhere if I did that. But the thing that I did before, I wrote a really nice generic plain message 1, message 2, reply 1, reply 2. And I had an automatic clicker, and it just clicked yes, 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 yes on every single picture. And then everyone who emailed me would get response 1. After they got response 1 and replied, they'd then get response 2. And it was all done by this JavaScript that I created. And the reason was because I was out, I was busy, I was working a lot of the time. When I wasn't working, I was clubbing and I was with my friends. I didn't have time. I didn't want to sit there and fiddle about online. I don't want to get to know a fucking load of messages on a screen. I want to get to know a woman in person. So that's what I did. And lo and behold, I got tons and tons and tons of dates out of it. I must have had hundreds of dates. But you know what the result was of these 100 dates? I had like 4 or 5 consecutive girlfriends, which I would have liked to have had for a longer term than I did, but they lasted. But I realised they weren't the people that they sold themselves to me as. And actually, I wasn't any better. The person I had sold them, this generic dude that didn't have any problems or didn't have any political, leanings one way or the other, that's not me. It's just not the guy that I am. And unfortunately, that is the guy who is successful at online dating. He's completely plain. It's almost like the video that I did about how to be a good salesperson. You standardize your look, you standardize your hair, you don't want to stick out too much, you don't wear bright, offensive, conflicting colours, you don't have bright, offensive, conflicting hair. You just look standard. And people aren't scared, so they approach you. That's what you've got to be like with online dating. You've got to be approachable and generic and plain. Otherwise, you're going to attract one single type of person, and the probability is they will never see you, and you will never see them. Because they're doing what you're doing. They're not giving you the truth on their platform, on their profile. Because the truth doesn't work online. It just doesn't. Point 1 is the truth doesn't work online. It just doesn't. So how does this relate to woke? Well, I can tell you. The reason the truth doesn't work online is because of the woke mindset. It's extremely discriminatory. Even though it pretends to be diverse, it's not. The only reason they have diversity is so that they can legally segregate people off into whatever group they're going to be in and then attack all the groups that aren't like them. And if you think about it, that mindset, if you apply it to dating, which is already highly discriminatory, especially if you're a woman, you have to discriminate, otherwise you're going to end up with the wrong man, aren't you? Or woman if you're a lesbian, or Pikachu if you're a furry. So the point is, the discrimination when you're in love and relationships, online dating, it has to be there. If you didn't discriminate, you just shag everybody and you die of AIDS. Or something like that would happen to you. So, like I say, especially women, they have to discriminate. But what's happened is they've taken that discriminatory mindset too far because of the woke politics, telling them and demonstrating to them every day through these falsehoods that they use and these lies demonstrating that that is the thing to do and it works, and it just doesn't. And the facts and the stats of life reflect that. We have the highest amount of women approaching 40 who have never even thought about marriage or having kids and have unfulfilling lives. They might have good careers, they might have really good social lives, they might have racked up, millions and millions of successful dates and be a desirable person. But at the end of the day, it's not getting them anywhere. And they are miserable. They're going to end up as cat ladies. It's like me ended up here as a bachelor. I'm actually pretty happy, but I would have preferred to have been married at 20 and by now have 4 kids that were growing up. But because of the mindset, the woke, discriminatory mindset, which I had when I was young, I wouldn't have it. The people that I met weren't good enough for me. They weren't vegan enough. They weren't labourite enough. They weren't liberal enough. They weren't woke enough. And the result is I wasn't interested in anyone. So here I am now, 40, and I'm past my prime. So I'm in a far worse position than I would have been had I thought what I think now at the age of 20 and not spent 15 years or 10 years, however long it was, stupidly chasing woke, thinking that social justice was real justice, when it just isn't. Point number 2 is the woke will waste your time. It's designed to get you to the age of 40 alone with no children and angry, so don't. And finally, the third point, when you think about what the effect of woke politics are, what it claims to be doing, like social justice, what it claims to be doing is the opposite of what it actually does. And you can see that every time I've had any contact with woke, now that I'm true to myself and I see things as they are for real, woke causes me nothing but trouble and arguments. It's the same with social justice. What happened to real justice, or just justice on its own? Surely that's what we should all be looking to find, justice. Not social justice or social anything. It's like social justice warriors. Why would you want warriors in a social context? It's bad. Being a warrior means you spend your life honing the art of war, sharpening your sword so you can stick your enemies. Now think about that in a social context. It's communism. Sticking your enemies socially because they're different to you, and trying to bully and coerce and force them to become part of your little mob. That's what social justice is. And that's what woke is. So that third point relates back to dating because it limits the time and it limits the options and it limits the fun that you're allowed to have. And at the end of it, it's pretty much ensuring that you end up single. Now, who stands to benefit from that? Certainly not our country or anyone who lives here. And it's like the rising amount of LGBT people. Who benefits from that? As our birth rate drops and our marriage rate drops and our family heritage and our culture drops like a stone, who across the world benefits from that? Well, of course, it's the guys that promote the woke, the communist countries who want to, They want to come here and they want to steal our politicians and pay them to come back and open the gate for them, spring the gate so they can get in. Like David Cameron, he's a perfect example. In fact, I reckon he must have been compromised before he even became Prime Minister here. Because as soon as his job was done, he resigned and he went straight back over there. So all this stuff about dating becoming difficult, online sites becoming unsafe and more stressful and just unpopulated when you're using them, it's all because of this woke stuff. And there's only one answer to it, I'm afraid. The answer, ladies, gents and Pikachus, even though it's completely filled with danger, and it feels like this game here, you're probably going to end up dead in pieces for trying, we have to get back to real life. Point 4, and the most important point, you will not find love on your phone or on your computer. You will find love in real life, outside. So I suppose that's the real point of this, ladies, gents and Pikachus, is it's all very well meeting people online, using social networks and dating sites to improve your social circle or to get laid when you're frustrated. That generally seems to be the use of it, is you can find quick link-ups and quick hookups. But if you want something deeper, if you want to meet people who are genuinely going to connect with you on a human level, you're going to have to just spend time with people outside without this discriminatory woke mindset. When they say something which you don't like or don't agree with, and it isn't exactly the same as your politics, you're going to have to learn to just accept it and don't let it make you angry. Like, I've sat with enough people who are completely wokeified. Their politics are like 100% woke at all times. It doesn't bother me. Even when they target me, it doesn't bother me. I don't mind people being different. That is democracy, ladies, gents and Pikachus. That is our culture. Normal British culture means I can sit in a cafe with someone who's got green, purple and red hair, big star-shaped glasses on, who's gay, and I can talk to them and they can tell me all about their wokeness. And as long as they don't mind me raising my eyebrows and going, well, that's not me, you know, I feel like that's a bit weird. It's fine, but it's okay, but it's a little bit weird to me. As long as we can have that exchange, and we can have the patience and the tolerance to learn enough about one another to not just go rah like a bunch of dogs in the street and start attacking each other, then we will be okay. And if we do that enough times with enough people, eventually we will find someone we like, who likes us, who we can try and have a good, decent go at a relationship with. And then we don't need to drop our drop our dignity down the toilet to go on a social media or a dating website and tell a bunch of lies, give them a load of pictures that don't represent the real thing. And effectively, if you look at most dating profiles, especially for women, they just look like a bunch of narcissists to me. It's like you've got 50 pictures of yourself, but each one you're wearing dark glasses, but you're inside your house with everything out on show. It's like, is that what you really look like? Is that a good representation of you? No. So while it doesn't get me anywhere and people just swipe left, swipe left, swipe left, this is how I look. If I'm on a dating site, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to swindle. I'm not going to sell, because you know what? I did that before and I did it fucking perfectly. And I did have hundreds of dates and 4 or 5 really good girlfriends out of it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't real, so it did not last.
Shall we go?
But dating shouldn't be as dangerous as all that. It should feel fun and kind of easy, really. It should not be difficult. But until we can aside our differences and stop being so discriminatory against one another, it was at this point you're going to realise you fucked up. Point 4, the final point. Never, ever, ever quit. Never give up on it. So that's it. That's all the advice and guidance that I have for you when it comes to dating in real life and actually online dating. Whichever one you choose to go with and whichever person you date, whatever your efforts are, don't get depressed and give up. Never give up. Never be one of these people who just thinks, well, I'll just buy a load of cats then. I'm going to be single and lonely forever until I die. Because that is brainwashing. Nobody naturally thinks that. People are naturally hopeful. People naturally look forward to the future. And even if you're 40, 50, 60, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your health problems are. It doesn't matter what your life or your politics is. There's always at least one person out there who wants you. Personally, everything about you is perfect for them, even if they don't know it yet. So it's just a case of finding them and negotiating that out and then deciding to be together. So that's what you should do. You should never give up. You should follow the guidance that I've put in this video and the pointers that I've previously said. And eventually, if you keep making the effort, you will be happy and you will find someone. I will as well. I truly believe that. Everyone out there who is single because they gave up. Whatever their problems are, you can solve your problems easier when you have a partner if you listen to them. You know, if you're with someone who criticizes you every day, they're doing that because they want you to be better, not because they want rid of you. If they wanted rid of you, they'd just leave, wouldn't they? So that's the final point. Never ever quit. You've got to keep going and you've got to keep your chin up while you do it. Retrospectively, it's going to be extremely difficult, as it always has been. It's going to be extremely hazardous, as it always has been. But ladies, gents and Pikachus, that is the dating game. That's love. It's always going to be a struggle. It's always going to be difficult and it's always going to be competitive. If we go online, we make it ultra competitive. So don't do that. Because nobody wants to be the most popular person who is still single. And that's effectively what online dating is. You just have a profile and you can prove and demonstrate your popularity with your profile. But it doesn't make you feel better in real life. You're still going to be sat on your own watching the TV alone in the evenings. You're still going to be making pizza and chips for one. So, now that I've gone through all the points that I'm going to go through, I shall leave you with this little bit of driving mayhem. Again, this is Stimulate Players who did this video that I have stolen, so please go and check out his video if you are so inclined. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you listened to the guidance and the advice it contained within. And I really sincerely hope that you can accept that it's... Look, the truth of dating is this. You're going to be rejected. Probably a lot of times, okay? Because you're not going to ask the right person on a date the first time you ask someone. You're going to have to continually ask different people. And even when you go on a date with someone, they might not want a second date or a third date, and that's fine. Don't be afraid of rejection. You know what? That's the ultimate point. I'm not going to make it a separate point of its own. Especially if you're male, be okay with rejection. Rejection is just practice. It's just one more step closer to the success that you are looking for. It is exactly like sales, right? I've been a door canvasser and I was excellent at that job. I won trips to different European countries. Regularly I outsold everyone in the building. And I was the new guy. How did I do that? It's because I wasn't afraid of rejection. In my head I knew all I've got to do to come back with the maximum sales and beat the crap out of all the other salespeople is to knock more doors. Get up earlier, go to bed later, work through your lunch, walk faster. Make each one good. Don't waste any doors. Don't talk crap at this one so you can get to the next. It's the law of averages. If you try 100 people, 50 won't like you, 50 will. Out of the 50 that will, 25 will be someone you like and 25 will be someone you don't like. Out of the 25 that like you, who like you, 11 will be taken, leaving, my math is failing me now, 14 or 13, something like that. Let's call it 14. Out of those 14 people, you will be sexually attracted to 5 of them. 2 of them will be sexually attracted to you back, and 1 of them will be, just discriminating against you. So that leaves 1 person out of 100 dates, which is perfect for you. Now that's an awful lot of work. An awful lot of work just for 1 person. But think about it this way. If you knew for a fact that all you had to do was go on 100 dates to find the person who you will fall in love with and have a happily ever after, it would change everything. You couldn't wait to get started on that first one, and it would be exciting and fun and fulfilling. And that, dear ladies and gents and Pikachus, is how dating should feel. It's fun, it should be fulfilling, it's exciting, it's exploration. You're helping each other get through life, and even if you don't end up with the person that you're on the date with, you're helping them find the next person, because you've ticked off one of their 100 doors, haven't you? And they've ticked off one of yours. So that's it, that's the end of this video, and the conclusion is, try as hard as you can, but don't be a tryhard. Don't ever give up, but don't cheat so that you can get more of an opportunity than you deserve. And just keep in mind that it is a law of averages. If you have 100 dates, guaranteed you will find someone in there who you really connect with and you want to spend more time with, who wants to spend that time with you. And then you won't have to be on the dating sites anymore, because guess what? You will have a bona fide girlfriend or a boyfriend. And that's what we're in this game for. So I hope you enjoyed that. And you took the advice and it motivated you to be better. So, I'm off now to not go on dating sites. I'm off to have a cup of tea and some food. And then that's it for me. I'm done for the day. So enjoy your night. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Bye. Oh, do you know what? I just had to leave this clip until the end. I love this clip so dearly. It was just so hilarious to watch. Definitely go to Stimulate Players on YouTube and watch all his videos. He's got a ton of them. And you'll fucking love them if you like this. So, like I say, have a good evening, and I will see you next time. Bye now. Bye. Bye. And a final time. Bye.